Okay, so the first is from Sam Wise, and they ask, have any Tories taken any jobs of note since losing their seat recently? Are there any jobs that an ex-MP should not be going into due to being controversial or otherwise?
Well, this is a really interesting question. I'm assuming that Samwise, great Lord of the Rings reference, by the way, is talking mostly about Conservative MPs who lost their seats in July. And we're recording this at the end of August. And for the most part, I think that particular jobs rush is still underway. Certainly all the ex-MPs I've talked to have talked about, having a holiday for the first time in a period of time off. So if there are more controversial jobs for those ex-MPs, we will bring you those as they happen. But we should remember that a lot of MPs had jobs outside of Parliament when they were MPs. And some of those were quite controversial, or certainly are things that every so often we have debates about whether or not MPs should be doing them. So ahead of the election, it was reported by The Observer that 34 outgoing Tory MPs, the vast majority of whom were current or former ministers, had a total of £2.5 million worth of expected annual income in the register of MPs' interest. So this is extra payments that they were getting for work outside Parliament. 11 MPs listed roles worth over £100,000 a year, including the former Justice Secretary, Brandon Lewis, who took on 5 new part-time roles worth £410,000 a year alongside his commitments as an MP. Nice work, if you can get it. I'm not sure if that's matching George Osborne's portfolio career of, Evening Standard editor, Black Rock, British Museum, obviously his podcast that he does with Ed Balls. Have I missed anything out, George?
That feels almost comprehensive, but there's always one you forget, isn't there?
There's always one you forget. That's the benchmark. Kwasi Kwarteng, the short-lived former Chancellor, registered work worth £98,600 a year. Sajid Javid is on that list too. Former Justice Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab. And that's, not counting the ones who have book deals out or gigs on GB News. Obviously, Liz Truss had a book, Boris Johnson had a book. So Graham Brady, the former chair of the 1922 committee, he's got a book coming out about, his time head of the Assassination Bureau. I'm not sure if that counts as an outside interest. But
is that the title? That would be a great title. I think you should... The Assassination Bureau. It sounds like a sort of Michael Lewis book or something. It's a great...
That was the title of Tanya Gold's New Statesman feature about the 1922.
I knew I'd heard it somewhere before, but we should. Graham Brady should really borrow that. On books, I also love that Liz Truss's Twitter bio is now Sunday Times best-selling author, just completely leaning into her new life.
Well, Liz Truss also has some other controversial work since leaving her job as an MP, in that she's been jetting off round the US, turning up at the Republican National Convention and trying to reinvent herself as a sort of uber right-wing libertarian poster girl. So, keep watching out for her, because she's not going away anytime soon. And of course, we'll all be very interested in what Rishi Sunak ends up doing. He's still an MP at the moment, but Silicon Valley beckons, shall we say. One thing that I think maybe this listener was asking about, or that we should flag as well, is that MPs, if they've served for 10 years or more when they leave Parliament, get to keep their parliamentary pass. They get an all-access pass to Parliament. And that gives them the opportunity to just turn up and chill out with other MPs and other lords and people in Parliament without needing to be chaperoned. And that's quite valuable if you want to reinvent yourself as a lobbyist, as a consultant. You can kind of offer access. And I think with the question, are there jobs that former MPs shouldn't be doing? I don't think it's so much what the job is, but it's about the use and potential abuse of that access. And if you're being paid large amounts of money just to go hang out in the Commons tea rooms and hope you bump into the new minister for XYZ, is that an issue? If it is an issue, is it more an issue with that minister who should be a bit careful about the conversations that they have? I'm reminded as well of David Cameron and his work lobbying for Greensill and those really rather embarrassing messages that he sent when he was trying to get sort of preferential treatment for one of his clients.
Yes, I think you're completely right. The revolving door, as it's known, is one of the things I think that the public really hate about politics. It's one of the things that Keir Starmer has promised to change and improve. And I think one of the tests of Labour will be whether it can live up to those standards.
And Labour are already feeling the heat and the pressure on some of that. Clearly, some decisions that seemed perfectly fine and justifiable at the time, you don't always see how they're going to be portrayed if the media gets hold of them.